We have such a great team that is doing a great job this season when no one thought that United could be fighting for the top four. We know.
Absolute facts there from Bruno Fernandes. And I'm glad somebody official at the club, my captain, by the way, has called this out, because the disrespect towards Man United has been very, very intense recently. But we're going to jump into his interview in more detail. Harry Kane to come on the show as well. Some big things being said, but smash the like button, subscribe to the Terrace, and also enter the raffle now to win 2 tickets and £250 spending money to the FA Cup final to watch Man City versus Manchester United. Scan the QR code on the screen or click on the link below. Let's get back to Bruno Fernandes here.
That now everyone is thinking that, oh, United is being great, but I remember in the beginning of the season, no one put our team in the top 6. So I think it's a good surprise for them, for us not, because we knew that we could be there. We knew that we could be even higher on the league, but we had our moments, and that's why we still in the position of fighting for top 4 and not bigger things. But I think in soon. This club and these players and this team will be fight for much bigger things.
And I love the ending of that from Bruno Fernandes. Firstly, he's kind of called out the pundits, the fans of Man United, and of course rivals that have written this team off this year. No trophies, will not make the top 4. Of course, what we're seeing now is the backtracking and the excuses and the moving of the goalposts and sort of playing down what Man United have achieved so far this year. Now, there is big pressure on this team to make it into the Champions League. And the reason is that because of that last sentence, this club, these players will be fighting for much bigger things. And that's what I like about hearing what Bruno has said here. He knew that the club was on its backside, bare to the bone at the end of last season, which is why the comparisons we're seeing now of, well, Oli only lost this much in his first full season, and Jose achieved this, and LVG did that, but David Moyes didn't do this. That's all about trying to downplay the progression of Man United, but also rather than people being grown-ups, rather than men being men and women being women, and people being honest and integral, that what they're doing is integral to their morals, that is. What they're turning around and doing is moving the goalposts, and they're looking for whataboutism, and they're trying to play things down and create a kind of position that still makes them look semi-right. No one's buying it, not even rivals, really. It's becoming very boring. But I'm glad Bruno's called that out. But he's also applied pressure that the club needs to be challenging for bigger and better things than just top 4. Needs to be trying to win more than just the Carabao Cup in a season. When I say just, I mean the club's got to be aiming for multiple trophy seasons every single year. And getting to a point where we're good enough to compete for the Premier League, being in a position where we're fancied as being a team that can win the Champions League has to be the ultimate goal. It does. And I'm glad to see, in my opinion, the captain of Man United, although officially it's still Harry Maguire, coming out and stating that. Happy with that progression. Happy that we've proven people wrong, but we know we need to give more. And I saw a few United fans online yesterday, and I want to call out Johnny. We all know Johnny because he's been on the Terrace many times. I haven't seen what he said because I think he deleted it. But he came out and tweeted and said, I hold an L here. I wrongfully went at Bruno for a quote instead of watching the video. I didn't know that he says we knew we could be higher. That is what a captain should be saying. I fully apologize. I was wrong. I should definitely have watched the video instead of reacting to a quote designed to trigger people. My apologies. I was wrong. And that takes a big, strong man to be able to apologize like that for getting something wrong. And I give Johnny a hell of a lot of credit for doing that. Just as a man, that takes a lot of credit to admit when you've got things wrong. Only real men can do it. Only strong people can do it. If you can't, I think that's a problem within you and yourself. And I wish you all the best of luck in the future. And that's why I loved what I heard from Bruno here. The message is, yes, we've proven people wrong, but we probably could have been a bit higher this year in the league. But we know we've got to go on to bigger and better things. And that's exactly what you want to hear. Standards. Standards are so important. And it's why I believe this Man United team is moving in the right direction with Eric Ten Hag at the helm. And it's why I believe this guy should be the Manchester United captain. We've come from a terrible position at the start of the season, our worst team in 40 years, in an absolute mess, to being where we are now. A big result needed this weekend against Wolves. Get back on track secure top 4, and who knows, maybe pull off a big shock, 'cause we're massive underdogs against City, and win an FA Cup. And what a season it will have been with this man leading us, and we go on to the next one with confidence flying high. I do want to get your opinion on this, though, on what he said. Leave it in the comment section below. Up next, I want to listen to a little bit of Harry Kane here, because Harry Kane's linked with a move to United. He's linked with a move to Chelsea. And he's often questioned for his ambition or lack thereof. Let's take a little listen here.
I always give 110%. I always give my all for the team and the club. I think off the pitch, to have those conversations with the chairman and with the staff here and try and give my opinion on, some of the things that I think could help us. Just be more consistent and more successful in the culture that we try and set. I feel like from a culture point of view, we've been too up and down over the last few years. So in any great team, in any winning team, they have a way of doing things, and whoever comes in or who's added to that, they kind of fit in straight away and know.
I just want to stop Harry there, because it's really, I had an argument on Twitter, and I don't remember who it was with, about a year ago, where I stated that there's no way the day-to-day practices in the Man United dressing room, the Man United training ground, is the same as what's going on at Liverpool City. Don't believe it for a single second. And whether it's the amount of people doing extra training, whether it's the intensity within training, whether it's everybody focusing on the video work they have to do, the analysis of their opponents, whether it's players going out at night too regularly, going to sleep at the right times, eating correctly when they're away from the football club, even the night before a game in a hotel, I guarantee you there's more likelihood of certain United players in the past staying up at night and playing computer games rather than going to bed by 9:30 to make sure they get enough sleep. I almost believe that deeply. Unless I'm proven wrong, it's a belief I'm going to hold. And Harry Kane's kind of pulling on that there without giving specificity to what he's saying. The culture's been up and down. As he said at the beginning, I give 110% in games. And often players do give 110% in games. But if your energy levels in training, your professionalism in your personal life is not 110% always, every moment of every day, you can't get your 110% on the pitch is going to be less than that of your opponents that are more professional, because they've got more they've got more credit in the bank. They've got more to give. And I think people miss that. One of my friends I grew up with, called Michael Page, who's a very, very good MMA fighter. He has a saying that I've heard him use, and he's been saying it since we were young. And it was train hard, fight easy. Train hard, fight easy was the mantra. You absolutely break your back. You bust your balls in training. You have 100% professionalism at all times. And that way, typically, unless the guy you're fighting is outright better than you, you fight easy. The fight should be almost easier in some respects than the training. And I love what Harry Kane has said here, because he knows that Spurs are not in the right place. And he's calling out, and maybe this is confirmation bias for me, so I'll hold my hands up, but this is what I talk about probably 80% of the time when I see teams failing on a regular basis. What is the culture like? What are the owners doing to fix it? What's going on behind the scenes? This is far more important to me than what we see manifested on the pitch. That's the end result. But you apply the 5 whys and get to the root cause of these problems. It's rarely at clubs like United and Arsenal and Spurs in the last decade, for an example, it's rarely just, we'll buy a couple of better players and you'll improve, because there's rot at the football club. And I love that Harry Kane said this. And if you listen to a lot of the journalists around him leaving or maybe staying, it all depends on what Spurs do. If he feels the culture is going to be changed in the right way with whoever the new manager is, with the players that are coming in, he may decide to stay. He's got a lot of power at the club. He does want to break the record at the club if he can. But he also alludes in this interview with Football Daily about winning trophies and the kind of importance of that. But this is what Man United have got to strive to build. It's what City already have. It's what Liverpool already have. It's what Arsenal have created, I believe. And I believe it's there now, there at the club. It exists, and it's key. Culture is so important.
The standards. Ours have been a little bit loose, I feel like, and
who knew he was going to say that, right?
Yeah, we need to find a way to create that environment that drives success.
Absolutely right. The environment is it. And there was a saying I learned when I worked at Barclays, and it stood with me now for the past 15 years, is that culture eats strategy for breakfast. And if your culture's bad, your strategy will never work. And I love that Harry Kane's got that mentality. And I couple it together with what Bruno said, because I want Harry Kane at Man United as well. I want him to be at my club. I don't believe he's this bottle job he's made out to be. I believe his team and his club bottles are big occasions. But I believe he isn't the catalyst to that. And I believe you bring him to a club that's changing its culture. You bring him to a club that wants to get back to those winning ways, where people are being removed for thinking any differently. And Bruno's proven that in with that interview. I believe he can help take Man United back to the top. But I do want your take. I want your views. I want your opinions. Remember to enter our raffle now with the chance of winning 2 tickets and £250 spending money to the FA Cup final. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll be seeing you all again very soon. Bye-bye.